That's why when we feel shame, we want to find a rock, crawl under it and die because we're so close to death in that frequency, right? Versus, let's just say love, which is 500 on the scale. And in love, we're much more expansive, right? We have the rose-colored glasses. Things look different when we're in the state of love, right? And so on, right? Here's the thing, as Albert Einstein said, and I'm going to just paraphrase here, right? But everything is energy. This is what Einstein said, right? And that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality.
Welcome to today's Shining the Light conversation. I'm really excited because with me we have the beautiful Susan, who's here to have a chat about money, something that is, I think, is on a lot of our lists, close to all our hearts, and not just money, Susan, but it's a secret to fast results. Everyone, I think, in the world, that's a generalization, a lot of people in the world is interested or is trying to manifest money. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people. And as your topic is money talks, money does talk, I'm aware that money is energy. Not sure if everyone else is, but I am. But Susan is here to chat with us about money, the energy of money, how we can manifest it really fast. I know you've got some tips to share later on, Susan, but like I said, I'd just like to thank you ever so much for joining us. It is a real honor to chat with you. So can I hand it over to you, Susan? Tell us a little bit about you, how you got to where you are now, a little bit about your journey, and then we can go into our wonderful topic.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me. I am extremely pleased, after all the time that I have promised to do this, to be here doing it. So my name is Susan Glusica, and I am known as the Unrivaled Realizer. I have created my own signature methodology called Money, Realities, and Realizations. Based on my signature discovery, which is right over my left shoulder, which is the 7 energetic levels of money consciousness. And I've been in the money game my whole career. After 20 years on the corporate cubicle side of Wall Street, I had a crisis of legacy, couldn't see my footprint, and discovered that financial planning sets my world on fire. And I thought I had discovered my true life's purpose, only to find that the methodology that we use in that planning it's exponential. And most people are not in an exponential mindset when it comes to money or having their money work for themselves. So I said there has to be a better way. And therefore, in the summer of 2018, after 8 years of trying to talk to people about exponential wealth building, or what I call 3 times 3, right? It's a multiplier. Most of the people that I was speaking to were stuck in the summation game, or 3 plus 3, right? And they were really stuck in what I call ego earning, which is when you believe that you need to exchange time for money because you don't know any other way. It's how you've been taught, right? Or it's how it was modeled for you by others pre-generation. Or you believe that it's an exchanging of your bandwidth or your capacity, like to work more, you must, to have more money, you need to work harder or longer. And what that actually lends itself to is that people start feeling like they're in what I call the revolving door, right? No matter what level of money is coming in, what comes in goes right out, right? And you just keep pushing on that door, but it takes a lot of energy and you're not really progressing. You're just going round and round. Where I love to help people now, mostly women, 85% of my clients are women, because women need more money to last longer. We do outlive our guys. And it's only been 50 years. I was just talking to another colleague before this event that women, at least in the US, a little bit longer in Canada, a little bit shorter in the UK. I'm not sure about the other countries, but that women have been able to own and manage our own real estate, wealth, credit cards, bank accounts, etc. So it is time to step into it. And my signature discovery of the 7 money realities, that's what I call them, is based on what you just said before, Sophia, is that money is energy.
Absolutely. And I said, I definitely want to learn about those 7 points totally very soon. And talking of money is energy. Would you like to share, when did you first realize that money is energy, and how has this transformed your life?
So first, I just want to make sure everybody understands that we don't want the money, right? Money gets vilified, right? Especially for people in spiritual practices. I've had clients who, whatever they had done prior, they moved into a spiritual practice and they were giving away their value because of a belief that they couldn't possibly make money in their spiritual practice. And I want to just bring this home for this community because it's really important to me. Money creation is spiritual, going back to the whole money is energy thing, right? But we really truly don't want the money. We want what the money gets us or enables us to be, do, and have. And there's been a couple of books along the way that have been very seminal for me. First is Wallace D. Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich, right? In which he states that desiring money for what it enables us to be, do, and have is noble. And he states there is no higher pursuit. So that's a first thing. So that was a clue. And I actually learned that in Women's Prosperity Network from Nancy Matthews from her course on Receiving Your Riches. Great course, recommended. Next, I was reading the summer of 2018 for the second time. I was reading Sir David Hawkins' Power versus Force, in which he created the map of human consciousness. And as I was reading it, a business strategist coach of mine had said, "Oh, I have a book for you to read," because I hadn't yet moved into being a coach, a paid coach, I should say, because in my financial practice for the prior 8 years, I really had been coaching from the sidelines, all of my financial clients, because I'm totally in it, right? Like the more successful my clients are, the better off I am too. Funny coincidence there. And she said, "Yeah, we got to get you paid for that. So read this book." And as I was reading this book again for the second time, now they say you can't step in a river, the same place in a river twice, right? Similarly, I was a totally different person this second read through this book, and it hit me. This is exactly how money works. He's talking about the frequency log of certain states of consciousness, right? Like, for example, shame on a scale of 0 to 1,000 is 25. That's why when we feel shame, we want to find a rock, crawl under it and die because we're so close to death in that frequency, right? Versus, let's just say love, which is 500 on the scale. And in love, we're much more expansive, right? We have the rose-colored glasses. Things look different when we're in the state of love, right? And so on, right? Here's the thing, as Albert Einstein said, and I'm going to just paraphrase here, right? But everything is energy. This is what Einstein said, right? And that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. It's not philosophy, it's physics, right? And what I love about that is, so it correlates, right? So if you take the map of human consciousness and you apply Einstein's statement to it, it makes sense. If that's the log of states of consciousness or energy or frequency, or what I call your financial frequency, or others can call your vibration, whatever you call it, it can correlate because that's going to be a match to your financial reality, or what I call your money reality. So in other words, the more often you stay in the faster, higher, and I'm using air quotes, states of love, happiness, joy, gratitude, right? Even enlightenment, the more frequently you're in those expanded states, the more money you're going to enjoy, attract, magnetize on an ongoing basis. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. Totally, absolutely. And I love it how you say, Susan, if we can go back to that too, it's not the actual money that we're after, it's what the money brings. but yet so many people, myself included earlier, was focusing on money. I need more money. And I know with the law of attraction and all that stuff, the more I focus on that, I'm putting out that I don't have, rather than shifting it to being the vibration of what the money will bring. So I love it how you say
Yes,
that. Thank you.
That's a very important point. And right, there is this a little bit of misinformation. I just want to clarify this for everybody listening. It's not a bad thing to make it all about the money. In fact, I'm unapologetically all about the money, because money is the effect, service, exchanging value, right? So being in service to exchange the value for the money, right? That's how we get the money, is the cause. So you want to always be at cause, but here's the rub. You must make it about the money, because you can't understand what level of service to be in to cause that effect until you're clear what effect you want to cause. You hear me? Right? So the level of money that you want, need, desire, whatever the thing is. And by the way, we always get what we need. So I would invite you to step into desire, and then you reverse engineer the level of service required. This is at the heart of one of the three things I do when I work with clients. You always want to be at cause for the effect that you desire, but you need to be clear on the effect to be in right cause, right? In the right level of cause for that end result or effect.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll go into more about your clients, how people can contact you and everything else that you offer too. I know in your thing, it's about, that you stand for unapologetic prosperity. Tell us more about that. What's the feeling? Why do you stand for unapologetic prosperity?
It's a great question. Primarily because I energize truth with a capital T over circumstance, meaning everything that I am and am about and understand as to how things work is based on universal law, right? And the truth, capital T, is that abundant prosperity is your birthright. It's actually what you are meant to enjoy. And so I must stand for unapologetic prosperity because I know it's your birthright. Whether you step into it or not, that's your conscious choice. I'm a stand for the truth, right? That if you choose it, you will have it because it is your birthright. Now, there's been there are some clarifications to have along the way. And I do have 3 tips, if you'll allow me, for expanding your money, right? For money expansion, because it's my favorite thing to help people step into that birthright of abundant prosperity. And when I say abundant prosperity, this is not just what you need, not just what you desire, but more than. This is overflow. This is surplus. That's your birthright.
Absolutely. Please do share, because I'm sure everyone who is listening is also very interested.
Okay, cool. So the first one is that we covered the first one of why making it all about the money is required for your next money level, because of the cause and effect, right? That you have to make it all about the money ultimately to know what level of service to exchange for the money. So we covered that one already unintentionally. The second one is, so what's required in that, right? So to step into that exchanging in service, your value, right? There's a harmonization that's required. And what I'm talking about is because they're it's the dynamic effect of how this works is you must harmonize being in the energy of action and also being in the energy of receiving in order to optimize money results. So what I find is many people they're working 7 days a week. And when they start stepping into working with me, I say, you absolutely must at least take one of the 7 days off, completely off. You cannot do any work. And they look at me like, what? Especially if they're in it like an MLM, right? where they're taught to just do everything daily, right? No, because if you're constantly in the energy of taking action, right, there's no space for the universe to give back to you because you're not open to receiving. You're only open to giving. So then you become an overgiver. You're giving away value and you're wondering, where's the money? So I want to make sure people understand, if that's, you're going to make more money as soon as you start taking at least 1 day a week off. I know it's counterintuitive, but this is based on how the energy exchange works. Okay. Is that clear, Sophia?
That's very clear, and I get it. I totally understand. And we're always, I believe now, Susan, we have a pandemic of human doings.
Yeah.
Other than human beings. And I totally hear you about taking that time off just to be and allow the universe to give to us.
Yeah. And as a recovering or recovered, hopefully, workaholic, I can tell you it's one of the hardest things that those of us who are addicted to the doing, and I use addiction not too lightly, because we can use it as an excuse not to be present in our life, not to have a new 3-month-old kitten that I'm raising. And she's such a dear and a love and a sweet thing. And if I was always working, I wouldn't be able to spend precious time with her. And she's growing really fast. So these are some precious days, right? Those kinds of things. And when I know from personal experience, when you step away and you're open to receiving, and that can look different for different people, right? Maybe you increase your devotion, your devotional practices. Maybe it's just going forest bathing. Maybe it's spending time with friends, family, pets, right? Whatever, the vacationing, right? Going places, traveling, having fun experiences, whatever the thing is that is like you receiving. When you start stepping into that, the universe takes note and says, oh, ready to receive, here you go. I have to be really careful these days what I think about, because, and I'm going to cover this in the next tip, but because of how I run my energy, I have to be really conscious of what I think about, because I'm not only in human design and am I a manifesting generator, which is like instant. Because of my energy level, it's even more instant. And I will have floodgates of things. If I just think one thing, it shows up instantly. Right? So the third tip that I have for your audience is how to raise your financial frequency, which we talked briefly about before, to invite in and receive more money the easy way, because money creation is spiritual, right? So we're divine beings having a human experience, right? We're more than our thoughts, more than our feelings, more than our physical bodies, and yet we are all of that at the same time. And just a quick pro tip, right? So if you were to step into gratitude, which is 900 on the scale of 0 to 1000 on the Hawkins scale of human consciousness, then your financial frequency is going to be so high on the regular, you're going to magnetize and attract the money. And when I say gratitude, the next pro tip is very key. It's expressing gratitude for everything, even and especially for the unpreferred. Why the unpreferred? Because that's like the threshing ground, if you will. So what we resist, so when we put up resistance to something, not only will it persist, but it also, I celebrate resistance because it shows us our greatest opportunity for growth. So it's, oh, okay, wait, here's this resistance. Okay, so if you lose a client or some other unpreferred circumstance, you get to pivot into immediate expression of gratitude for that. And what helps is at the end of that expression. So I'm so happy and grateful now that XYZ happened, whatever it is, that unpreferred circumstance, and better is on its way. And then you simply move on. You release and move on. That is going to keep your vibrational frequency in gratitude, like irrespective of your circumstance, which is going to keep you closer to your higher self or your divine self, right? That's going to be that timeless entity that is less affected by circumstantial things. because you could get the very next call could be somebody looking to work with you. And if you're not in that high level frequency, you're going to repel them instead of attract them to work with you. I've had this happen. Does that make sense?
Totally get it. I totally get it. In fact, you've answered my next question is like, what role does gratitude play in attracting abundance and stuff? So thank you for that. Totally get it about stepping into the energy of being grateful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. And everybody knows the platitude. You got to have an attitude of gratitude. Now you know the why.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And is there the third tip?
So that was the third tip. So I'll just review real quickly. The first one we did before I started the list, right? So that was why making it all about the money is required for your next money level. The second is about harmonizing the energy of action with the energy of receiving, because there's two ways to that dynamic exchange, right? It's like a 2-lane highway. You got to use both lanes. And the third is the raising your financial frequency by getting in and staying in gratitude.
Yeah. And that's an amazing thing, Susan. And like I said, just thank you for sharing that. And I've experienced it myself. When you actually can be in that energy, that vibration, if you want to call it, the state of gratitude, being grateful for even the little things in life. There's so much in our lives for everyone, absolutely everyone, no matter the deepest or darkest stuff that we go through, we can still find something to be grateful for. And just thank you for sharing that. And for everyone who is listening, I hope you're taking notes.
And I have the secret to fast results, because that's what everybody's here to hear, right? So there's 2 ways to get results. The first way is the slow and steady. This is where affirmations come in, right? This is where the compound effect, if you know what that is, like, comes in, right? Things like that, because the ego brain can get behind slow and steady, and also slow and steady wins the race, right? But that usually takes a longer time. For people like me who want it yesterday, or yesterday isn't even fast enough, and you want to know the secret to fast results, here you go. Because this is what you came for, right? So it's really actually very simple. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's very simple. It's by giving yourself permission to have a different experience. That's it. It's you simply give yourself permission to have a different experience. So similarly, as we were talking about staying in gratitude and why that works, right? When you give yourself permission to have a different experience, to do it differently, to explore a different way, or look at it from a different vantage point, et cetera, you pivot into fast results. So ponder that.
Absolutely. And it's so true, because so much, again, when we're addicted to the doing, we don't give ourselves permission to experience. We're always in the head, and really just doing where we can pivot and give ourselves permission to experience, permission to receive. I totally believe that you would get fast results. So thank you so much.
And there are those of us who are like highly analytical. That's especially important for the highly analytical. You do need to turn your analyzer down a little bit and step into giving yourself permission to have a different experience. Otherwise, your analytical brain is always going to need to know the how. And all you need to do is need to know, actually, for different results, is the very next step.
Yeah, absolutely. And the very next step is to come and talk to Susan.
If it resonates, happy to speak. Yes.
Absolutely. So tell us about that, Susan, before we finish up, while we've got time. Tell us about, we will be putting your links in all the comments, but what can people benefit or experience from coming to talk to you, to join one of your programs, to join your Facebook group? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So actually, full disclosure, I just show up in other groups. I don't have my own group right now. Well, actually, that's not exactly true. I just started a very small, intimate 6+ figure group with another WPN coach. So we just started that. So if anybody's interested in that, come talk to me separately. But what I really like is for people to kick the tires with me at my every quarter. I do a 1-day money intensive day. And you get, among other things, you get the 33 reasons why it's not working or what to avoid, right? The 7 laws of success, and an 8th one that my signature discovery is based on, an understanding of how your energy either repels or attracts money. We go into the 7 levels of money and which one you're in and how to get to the next one. And there's also an opportunity for expert laser coaching from yours truly for an improved relationship with money creation. And that's by application during the event. The next one is in July, dollars if you feel called. Or you can book a clarity call with me and I'll identify your biggest money block in 20 minutes or sooner.
Love it. Love it, absolutely. And who cannot take up those offers? So thank you. Susan, there's so much more that I'd love to talk to you about. So please come back, because we
I will.
love to go into all of the stuff about the self-worth and stuff. But before we finish up, is there any other question that I could have asked you? And how would have you answered that?
I like the one, like what gets you up in the morning, because I have intentionally worked to where before my feet hit the floor, right out of bed, and I'm a very early riser. My energy is consciously, purposefully set very high into gratitude. So what gets me out of bed, believe it or not, and my husband who's retired does not get this, but it is my mission. I am on a mission to raise the money consciousness of the world so you, all of you, experience prosperity. And that's what gets me out of bed every single day.
Thank you. Can I just take a moment just to honor you? First of all, thank you for joining us for this conversation. And I said, please do come back, and really honor you just for saying that, for wanting to raise the vibration of the world so everyone can experience prosperity. How heart-centered, heartfelt is that? So thank you ever so much. And I said, it's been an absolute joy to talk to you, Susan, today. And I really do hope to catch up with you very soon.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.